Hello guys, it's Christy Lewis from Dostoevsky in Space, and today I am doing the alphabet soup. F is for Fictionalize tag. I was tagged by Shawn the Book Maniac. Thank you so much, Shawn. I really enjoyed doing the last tag. It was really a fun one, and I love the questions to this one. So why don't we just jump right into these questions. Question 1. F is for Fictionalize. Any or all of these. A. Your take on autofiction. B. The writer you would like to write a novel based on your life. And or C. A work of autobiographical fiction you'd recommend. I didn't even know what autofiction was until I watched Steve Donahue's version of this tag, and I was like, oh, this is like the Lele Pons book, right? I saw a really funny rant review about the Lele Pons book.
If you're not quite sure who Lele Pons is, I've made a video on her in the past, so make sure to check that out. But essentially, she is 1, a Latina, 2, an Instagram comedian who is also a Latina, 3, the internet's favourite punching bag. Within good reason, not because she's Latina, but she is, just in case you forgot. Latina. Where
she wrote a book like based on her life growing up in high school. I don't know, is this like celebrity books or something? Yeah, I haven't read any of those. They don't sound very interesting to me. However, I love the question, what writer would you want to write a novel based on my life? That is such a fun question. I don't really know like right off the bat, because most of the authors that I read would either turn my life into a high fantasy or a tragedy. I don't think my life is that interesting, honestly. I think it would be a pretty boring life to choose to base a book on. But if I were gonna choose, I would choose Madeleine L'Engle. In her contemporary fiction, she always adds like a little twist of sci-fi-y elements like ESP or talking to dolphins or taking a trip through a wrinkle in time. That would be really fun. Question 2. F is for farm. A great book set on a farm or about farming, and or one you want to read. I don't know about books set on a farm. I did really enjoy Old Yeller that I just read during middle grade March. I'm pretty sure that most of Wendell Berry's fiction involves some kind of like small town farm life type thing. So Hannah Coulter would be my option. I read his book Life is a Miracle, loved it. It's like an essay. I've been really wanting to read some of his fiction, so Hannah Coulter I would say. Question 3. F is for Frank, Franz, Franny, or a writer you recommend or want to read whose first and or last name starts with F. Bonus points for both first and last name. Dang it, Shawn, I never get your bonus points! Well, I am finally reading Dune by Frank Herbert, which I've been wanting to read for approximately forever. And I would recommend Dostoevsky, of course. This one I haven't actually read. I would love to read more, so that kind of fits for both of the prompts. F is for the love of God! An experience of extreme exasperation while reading, about a book in its entirety or a smaller section thereof. Well, I'm reading The Hunchback of Notre Dame by Victor Hugo right now with the book club, and I think we all experienced some extreme exasperation when we just read part 3 together. The first part is okay. It's talking about the cathedral, and it's really laying out all the different things that have changed, and I think that's going to be a big part of the theme. It's Gothic art versus Renaissance art, and it just goes into like a whole essay about it, and okay, that was hard to read. But then he follows it up with an even longer chapter about the view of medieval Paris from the cathedral. Why? Why was it there? I don't know. None of us know. I realize we're spending some time in Paris during this book. But for real? A whole essay on what medieval Paris looks like in all of its detail? I don't care. They didn't care. It was definitely exasperating.
Sometimes I'm trying to imagine it, like 200 years ago, you would see just a set number of person in your life. Like you would see maybe 20 faces, 100 faces, but like the amount of faces we see through the internet, through media, through like living in a big city and everything, you have plenty. You don't even need the creativity to do it, because you've already seen so many people, so many faces, and maybe the description that were really needed, because you could not have met somebody like that. Like most of the characters you read today, you're like, oh yeah, it reminds me a bit of this or that or this person. Like, and at that time, maybe it reminds you of no one. So that's why they had to be so descriptive.
That is a super interesting point that I hadn't considered.
Question 5. F is for find. A book with lots of F's in the title. Bonus points for more than 2. Faust, the first part of the tragedy. Faust the First. I finally got bonus points. Yes. Question 6. F is for Father, a book in which fatherhood is a central concern. The Most Fun We Ever Had by Claire Lombardo is actually more about sisterhood than fatherhood, but there are 3 fathers in there, and it's quite dramatic. There's a lot of family drama involving them and their kids and how they raise their kids and their relationships with their kids. I did really enjoy that book. It follows one family and all the possible drama that could happen in this family after they discover that one of the 4 daughters of this family has a secret son. Yeah, it's that kind of a book. I read this for review and I did actually really enjoy it. It definitely had the fatherhood theme. 7. F is for Finland. A book set in Finland or by a Finnish author you'd recommend or would like to try. Find out about one if need be. It'll be fun. Actually, it was kind of fun. I had to ask my neighbor because she reads a ton of literary fiction. I was like, have you read anything translated from Finnish? And she was like, no, but here's this article. And I'd actually found the same article. And okay, here's one of the books that was on that list that sounds pretty cool. It's by Alexis Kivi and it's called The Seven Brothers. It's an essential classic of the 19th century Finnish literature. A little bit heavy going in, but it is considered an allegory of Finnish character types. It's a very realistic story of 7 brothers which entails an element of fantasy. I don't know how a very realistic story can entail an element of fantasy. I just don't really know what that means, but it kind of interests me. 8. F is for Fangirl. A new or new to you writer you're really excited about. Does it care to be excited about a whole genre or time period? Because I've recently become more excited about Victorian literature. In that Victorian book club that Kate House started, the Victorian read-alongs every month or every 2 months, reading like a couple of Victorian novels in a row has really made me appreciate some things about the style. I love how it gets really into the heads of the characters and it just explores their emotional depth in a way that's been kind of missing from some of the books that I have read earlier in my life. Jane Austen wasn't exactly Victorian, but it's very similar to that, and also Jane Eyre were favorites of mine growing up, but I just didn't know any other authors like to go from there. Not until I joined BookTube. We're reading Deerbrook right now by Harriet Martineau, and I just love exploring all the characters. There are some things about Victorian literature that can be annoying, like the deep dark secret trope, and you know, the language can sometimes be a little bit difficult to get into, stuff like that, but it is the kind of stuff that I really just enjoy slipping into. The stories are really character driven, but they're not vulgar at all, so that's what I like about them. 9. F is for Fling. You loved one book by this author and nothing else. This is like a big girl BookTube tag question. I don't think I've read enough authors to really have come across this, like just read all through their works. Still working on it. Sorry, Shawn. However, I have put authors on a pedestal before after reading like 1 or 2 of their works and then being like, sure, I was gonna love so many more of their books. I just thought, oh, everything's gonna be good if these 2 were that good. That happened to me with Howl's Moving Castle and A Tale of Time City by Diana Wynne Jones. I really thought that I would like other books by her after reading that, and I like some of her other books, but I haven't found any other ones that I loved the way I loved those 2. 10. F is for Friends, a novel that satisfyingly explores friendship. I gotta go with Charlotte's Web on this one by Evie White. I just read this one for middle grade March, and it's all about making friends with people who are different than you. I love the friendship between Wilbur and Charlotte and how they kind of have to get over some, well, at least Wilbur has to get over some preconceived notions about spiders and killing things for your food. Because at first he's like, that's terrible, you kill things and eat them? But you know, he lives on a farm, like it's kind of all around him. After realizing what a pain the flies are all the time, he realizes, okay, it's actually a good thing that she's killing all these flies, because man, those things are pests. Really enjoyed that one. And really the whole farmyard makes friends with each other, even though they're all different kinds of animals. 11. F is for Far and Wide. Tag feverishly. I'm going to tag 4 people today. First of all is, of course, Karla Alvarez at Raised to Walk. I tag her in most of my tags because she has just been such a loyal friend to me. Karla's a super smart lady. She talks apologetics and Bible study and also books on her channel. F is for friend. You are my friend, so tag you're it, Karla. Noah and everyone who reads it must converse. I don't know if you've been tagged yet. You probably have been, but I don't know. You didn't come out with it before filming this, so I don't know. If you haven't been tagged, consider yourself tagged now. I would love to see your answers on this. Noah's channel is one of my favorites that I've recently found. He's just such a peaceful person, and I feel like he has so much spiritual wisdom. He's read spiritual books from so many different traditions, and I really admire that. Victoria from Victoria Reads Too Much. Victoria is one of my favorite people on BookTube. She does these super cute vlogs at home that are just kind of restful and rejuvenating to watch, and she often does like funny videos with her husband Julio. And she's been reading some Brandon Sanderson with Rainy from Rainy Day Reads lately, which I know is like a winner here on BookTube. Everybody likes Brandon Sanderson, right? So if you haven't checked out Victoria's channel, I do recommend you check it out. And Victoria, consider yourself tagged. And finally, we have Carolyn from Reads with Carolyn. She's a very new booktuber who is growing fast. She's from Norway, and her videos just have a really nice aesthetic, and she's pumping them out. She just seems like a really sweet person. She reads a lot of fantasy, young adult, and some classics as well. And she's really big on coffee. She seems like really knowledgeable about coffee. She said something about that in one of her intro videos that I watched. I forget where she works, but it involves coffee. Carolyn, consider yourself tagged. Okay guys, that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, please give me a thumbs up in the corner and subscribe if you haven't yet. And hit the little bell icon if you want to be notified anytime I make a new video. Thanks so much guys. I hope I hear from you in the comments. I'd love to hear your answers to any of these questions or your thoughts on this video in the comments. Take care guys. Bye.